I wanted to get more freelance clients. I
Yeah.
had like one or two on the side for every 2 to 3 months. When I started with YouTube, I had only two clients back
Hmm.
then. My challenge was post every single day in the beginning. And in the
Wow.
beginning, I would post stuff that I knew about, but then eventually, after like 3 months, I got more clients, I got consultation calls, and fast forward, I
Hmm.
think it's what, like 9, 10 months after I started posting, I have a full-time job. I'm a community manager at a Magic Path, which is a fantastic AI designing tool. And I'm also doing YouTube stuff, also working with Framer as well.
What if creating content was the new way to build the business life and career of your dreams? That is exactly what today's guest, Lucas Margerie, did. He went from having just a few sporadic freelance clients to having a full time role, a thriving community, and a business and life he's actually excited to return to. But it all started with community, creativity, and most importantly, consistency.
If you're not so happy with where you are right now, if you just challenge yourself to post every day, showing your face, showing your passion in what you're doing, and just be consistent. For me, it took like 3 months to get like cool results, but anyone can do something like that.
I love Lucas because he isn't some kind of YouTube celebrity or personality. His videos don't get millions and millions of views. He's just a creative. He's a transparent person and he builds in public. And he's turned that into his most powerful marketing and client acquisition channel for himself. He built a portfolio that didn't just show the work, it in itself was the work. I love Lucas's story because it totally flips the way we think about marketing and creating opportunities for ourselves. For the past 2 years, I've been doing something similar on LinkedIn, and I'm always telling other founders, creatives, and marketers the value of building a personal brand and sharing your story in the process. In this episode of Marketing by Design, you and I are going to learn how we can turn content into a living, breathing, and client acquiring portfolio, how to use community to share your ideas, learn from others, and grow, and most importantly, how to stay consistent in the process. I interviewed Lucas as he was 10 months into his YouTube journey, and over a year into his process, the dude is still cranking content. I see nothing but up and to the right for Lucas and anyone else who takes the approach of building in public and making content. I'm going to drop the links to his YouTube, all of his socials, his community, and Magic Path below. And I encourage you guys to dive in and use him as a real life case study for what you're building. If you want to be creating the right things as a marketer, as a creative, as a founder, this is a real life case study, how you can do that for yourself. This is entry 122 of Marketing by Design. Crack open your beverage. Today, I'm rocking with a citrus ghost. Be sure to check out our supporters and sponsors below. I thank you for listening. And without further ado, let's talk to Lucas.
That's a great question. I mean, when it comes to the languages, so you said like there's a connection between what I'm doing on YouTube and my language learning, right? So
100%. Yeah.
I was also, I mean, I was always bilingual until I was maybe 21. I just spoke English and Spanish, right?
Mhm.
And I spoke some Portuguese as well, but it wasn't so good. Um, but then I moved to Germany by myself when I was 21, and I was kind of forced to learn German. And German is a very difficult language to learn
Uh,
because it's very, in terms of grammar, very difficult. Like you can make a bunch of mistakes. You have to kind of structure your sentences differently. You have to add the verb at the end. So it's very complicated to learn. But the way that I learned was I used, there's this thing called, in German people would understand, it's called a donkey bridge. That's the term. And what a donkey bridge is that you learn something. You learn, um, a German phrase, right? And
uh,
you kind of, it sounds similar to like a phrase that you know in English. And
uh,
so for example, I can give you an example in Russian, right? I have a wife, she's Russian, and to say I
uh,
love you in Russian is yalo blue tiba. So it's kind of like yellow blue, right? You hear like yellow blue, and it kind of,
uh.
I always remember those colors when I say that phrase. So I always try to like get phrases that I know in English and kind of mix it with these different languages.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like one of those videos where they do like the memorization magic tricks where they're like,
Mm,
okay, I'm gonna say a series of like 20 different random things, and you're gonna remember them exactly in order. And they say like an aphorism, like that's kind of like it, and they walk them through step by step. Um,
okay.
yeah, I can see that a little bit. But
Yeah.
talk to me about learning. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that language stuff kind of fits in with what I'm doing, right? So I
Uh-huh.
started off I came back to the US in September, and that's when I really started my YouTube channel. I had, like, 2
Mhm.
YouTube videos there that you mentioned before that are just pure in German. I just made it
Yeah, it
for,
was
like,
like you guys were like sitting on the bed and you started
yeah,
talking on
yeah,
the camera.
sitting on the couch, I remember, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about Mapbox. We had, like, a Mapbox,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
workshop for some other university or something like that. And yeah, so that was pretty funny. But then afterwards, back in September, I kind of quit my job. I was working at an agency, an e-commerce agency in Germany, and I quit my
Uh-huh.
job and I came to Miami. Came back to Miami with my wife. It was her first time in the U.S. We were waiting a long time for the paperwork. It finally worked out. So and then I just decided to just start posting YouTube videos. And I my goal, my challenge was to post every single day in the beginning. And in the
Wow.
beginning, I would post stuff that I knew about, but then there came a point where I had to kind of learn the different things, right? There was, for example, the first one was I remember the first thing that I really had to learn was a tool called Framer Auth, which was like adding
Uh-huh.
authentication to Framer websites.
Uh-huh.
Shout outs to Danny Sapio for that amazing tool. Um, and basically, yeah, that was like the first challenge. So I remember waking up that day. I went to a friend's house and just because he was having a baby and it was a baby shower. And I
Uh-huh.
came back home like at 6 p.m. and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and film a full like video of me building like an app in Framer, right? With user
Uh-huh.
authentication and I forgot what I built. And so as I was filming, I was kind of like doing it very kind of not structured at all.
Uh-huh.
I was filming and then I would pause and then I would kind of like learn what I was supposed to do next. I tried it out, didn't work, tried it out again. Okay, it worked. And then I would resume filming. So that's kind
Uh-huh.
of how I ended up, you know, uh, doing these first videos. And then that led to, Framer Auth. And I did like more Framer Frameship. So e-commerce with Framer. Shout outs
Uh-huh.
to Ryan Hayward for that great tool as well, and the insert frame team. And yeah, just came up, working with all these different tools, and I just came with the same type of mentality, just to poke around and build something cool. Maybe it wasn't cool in the beginning, but then I just started poking around a little bit more, and then eventually building something interesting that I could share, right? And filming the whole process and kind of cutting that process. So
Uh-huh.
with the whole goal was just to post something every day. Like, it doesn't matter if it was a bad thing that I built or really cool. That was just the goal, to kind of get my word out there.
Yeah. Okay. So what was the inclination to do it from? Were you ever trying to make it like a job eventually, or was you doing it as a
Yeah.
form of okay, maybe brands will see this, or you were just trying to maybe do it to get freelance work? What was the mindset behind doing it every day? Because that to me that sounds like you almost had an incentive in
Yeah.
mind to do it other than just doing it. So talk about that.
Yeah, 100%. You're totally right. So my incentive was just to create another form of a portfolio, right? People tend to build a portfolio as a website. And I think that I like to work with smaller companies, like startups.
Hey, real quick, I just want to read something that our partner Andrew submitted to us yesterday. This has absolutely been a home run. We have a much clearer message, a cleaner website, and a high tech feel that reinforces confidence in those interested in testing our platform. Andy at MMG was well organized, no surprises, and a pleasure to work with. That is the value of having a fast and efficient moving website partner on your team. And that is the value of removing yourself, the fish, from the water that is your business. So we are currently doing free homepage audits, and we definitely won't be doing them long. So if you fill out the form below, I'll get back with you with a 3 to 4 minute tele video going over your homepage and give you 1 to 2 actionable things that you can improve upon. If you guys don't know me, my name is Andy. I'm the founder here at MMG Design, and all we do is Webflow websites. So I invite you to take me up on this. We won't be doing it for long, as you can imagine. It's very time intensive. So I invite you to take me up on this. Without further ado, back to the podcast. Yeah.
And I think that startups, like, they're a group of people, and at the end of the day, you work with other people. So I would like for people to see how I speak. I have this like strange accent
Mhm,
with all these different languages. I have
mhm,
a very unique way of thinking. You know, but the initial goal was just to create like this visual portfolio to get
uh-huh,
types of freelance projects, or maybe like a full-time job, something, something out there that would kind of tailor my needs, so to
mhm.
say.
Okay. So while you was there ever a and this is so a lot of the audience are like marketers who are
Hmm.
probably in the beginning of their career. They're kind of dabbling. A lot of them are creative like me and stuff like that. So talk to me about when you were working with agencies, when you were working at the agency, whatever chapter that was. Um were you also freelancing for clients while you're making content? Were you doing all 3 at the same time? Um, and how much of a grind was that? And, like, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to ask more than 1 question at a time, but talk
No
to me
problem.
about, like, how you juggled kind of those 3 avenues because they are very different. I mean, and you can kind of overlap with the freelancing and the content. I think you can there's a lot of value in sharing what you're doing, and that's the content that you make that also markets yourself,
Yeah.
which we'll talk a little bit about more later. But talk to me about like how you did you put on a different hat when you were going between, okay, this is content, this is work, and this is freelancing. Like, where did that all tie together?
Yeah, well, in the beginning, last year, I would only do work, and I didn't feel, complete somehow. Felt like I needed to, because I wanted to get more freelance clients, right? I
Yeah.
had like one or two on the side for every 2 to 3 months. They were good clients, really interesting projects, but I kind of wanted more, and I wanted to meet more people. I was inspired by different people, and
Mhm.
so then that's why I started creating my YouTube. And then and with you when I started with YouTube, I actually was only doing freelance stuff. I had only 2 clients back
Hmm.
then. I was kind of like living on the edge, but also doing
Yeah.
YouTube stuff. But then
Been there.
eventually,
Yeah.
after like 3 months, I got more clients. I got consultation calls. I have my Discord community, and like meeting a bunch of interesting people. And fast forward, I
Uh-huh.
think it's what, like 9, 10 months after I started posting. I have a full time job. I'm a community manager at a Magic Path, which is a fantastic AI
Uh-huh.
designing tool, that I can talk a
Yeah.
little bit more about if you want. And
It's
I'm also
badass.
doing YouTube stuff, and I'm also working with Framer a little bit, as well. So just yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, dude. When was the how long ago was the transition from um when did the agency end officially? Is
Yeah.
that before you started posting altogether?
Yeah, it ended like the month before I started posting.
Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. So that helps clarify for me a little bit in my mind because I was like, dude, this guy's working at an agency, he's making content, and he's also doing a community. I was like, holy shit. Um, but dude, that's awesome. So you're full time content, community management, everything that I mean, because I was low key kind of wondering, like, how is this guy streaming on Discord every single day, like in the middle of the afternoon? But
Yeah, yeah,
that's what you do full time now. So talk to me about like what
yeah.
your day looks like in terms of content and all those 3 roles you kind of mentioned.
Yeah, so, I mean, I have 2 different communities. I have one that's my own from my YouTube. It's called No Code United, and then I
Uh-huh.
have another one that's from Magic Path, which is a company that I work for, as a community
Uh-huh.
manager. And what my day looks like this. In the morning, I eat breakfast, go to the gym. Not every day. I should go every day, at least.
Mhm.
But I try to. So breakfast,
Mhm.
touching some grass outside. And then what I do is I do these live streams with my own community in Discord with No Code United. And
Uh-huh.
basically people come with different questions, or we do like a week where we build something together, and that's like 2 hours long. Then I eat lunch, and then at 1:30 I have like a stand up with the Magic Path team, and they talk about like the
Uh-huh.
different things that they're working on. Everyone shares a little bit about what they're doing. 2:30, I have my Magic Path live stream. It's usually like an hour long. So right before we started, I was doing that. And
Uh-huh.
then always between like 3:30 to 5, I have like a space where I film YouTube videos, like a long form YouTube videos, like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then from 5 to 9, I'm working with Framer. And then after 9, I go out to eat some dinner, I relax a little bit, and then, like, from, like, 10:30 to, like, 12, I'm just cutting videos on the couch, just, that's pretty
Dude,
much
you
it.
still my guy is grinding, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so
grinding.
talk to me. So you're like on camera like 3 or 4 hours a day then between your own content and two live streams and calls too.
Yeah,
So, bro, you're like accustomed to like where you're at right now is pretty much like you could live
yeah,
there.
this is
It sounds
natural
like
to
so.
me. I love it.
Well, dude, that's well. You seem like really happy, but to me that seems like I
Yeah,
mean we're all different grind looks different to different people.
yeah,
And I know like how it is when you're first starting and it's freelance and it's client work, balancing between marketing yourself and trying to do the work and get better at it. But dude, and even just from watching your content, you can tell like I think you get very energized by just like sharing what you're learning.
yeah.
And it's very like if people, the listeners go through and like scroll through your videos, like a lot of them aren't they're not don't take offenses, but they're not like super high production quality. I know you
No,
just
not
said
at
you
all.
edit yourself, but thank you. Okay, I'm glad you didn't get offended by that.
Yeah.
But you still edit all your own stuff though?
Yes, I still edit all my own stuff. I'm trying to find
My God.
like, I've tried 2 times in the past to try to find an editor, but the thing is that I want to post at a very
Yeah.
fast rate, and that's, like, the only problem, and
Yeah.
yeah, and I also have some things in my private life going on,
Hmm.
that I need to, like, kind of get used to certain things. I just moved into a new apartment,
Hmm.
yeah, so I have a wife as well,
Yeah.
and
Well,
yeah, so but
there's
that's
a
pretty much it. Like it's a grind, like you said. I do feel tired sometimes.
uh-huh.
Obviously, we're human. I do take, sometimes I don't do that YouTube video from 3:30 to 5. I take like a little nap and then I
Uh-huh.
make the YouTube video at night. And
Yeah.
some days I do feel unmotivated, but I love this. Like I think I get my energy from talking to different people like you
Yes, me too.
and learning.
Yeah.
That's where I get my energy.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. Dude, this is so we won't spend a lot of time on this, but I'm so like in the weeds of freelancing and client work and I spent so much time like doing it that like that's why I lean so hard on making the podcast isn't even a paid gig for me. It's literally just I can interview any marketing creative related niche and then the AMA kind of supports it and they put it out to the newsletter and stuff.
Mhm.
Um so that's great, but it's like it's always the best part of my day and I walk away from conversations. So I understand being very energized by, kind of just talking in general. I think
Yeah.
it kind of, especially for a lot of people who work on screens, um, and even a lot of creatives too. They're kind of, they don't switch between the two enough between the social aspect of it and the sharing, which is sort of the inclination I think a lot of creatives have. Like I said, a lot of the audience are younger marketers. And when we talk about making content, just like the career, and no matter what you want to do, it just creates a better asset that is yourself. You have all these more opportunities. I think you're a first case, real world proof of that in terms of
Mhm.
the doors that has opened up for you. Um, but talk to me about, man, yeah, just so much,
I mean,
there's
just a
so much
quick
stuff I
note
want to
on what
ask
you
you.
just said. Just a quick note there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always, you know, I always tell that to everyone that I meet. They can be a lawyer, they can be like a graphic designer, they can be, a real estate agent. I think that
Uh-huh.
if you take the time, if you're like, if you're not so happy with where you are right now, if you just take the time to just challenge yourself to post every day. You don't have to post every day, but like every 2 days or something. Post something showing your voice, showing your face, showing your passion in what you're doing, and just be consistent.
Uh-huh.
For me, it took like 3 months to get like cool results. Um, you
Uh-huh.
know, but anyone can do something like that.
Yeah.
now with YouTube and with TikTok or Instagram, whatever it is, there's so many different platforms and so many different opportunities that are just out there for you. You just gotta
Yeah.
like share yourself.
Right, 100%. That's
Mm,
why we were talking about at the beginning, like, some people just never get started,
yeah.
um, and it's something I'm doubly passionate about as well, because that's actually how I was able to even do this full time was over on LinkedIn, um, and people, I think, and myself too, I am not the best on camera, so, like, the YouTube, like, your whole day of just with everything you told me, like, to me, that feels like grind, but I think there's different flavors of it for everyone that, wants to. There's short form platforms, there's obviously longer form. Um, but there's a way to do it that can help you reach your goals. I think it just takes a little bit of intentionality kind of there in the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, but I want to talk to you about both of your communities. Um,
Mhm.
Talk to me about what community means to you. I know we talked a little bit about how it can fulfill kind of those social buckets that maybe a lot of us are missing when we do um, the laptop work like we do.
Mm.
But what kind of role has a? I want to know how you got started building a Discord community and then going on to do what you do now. But
Yeah.
what does community kind of mean to you?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. I mean, community means a lot to me. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get people talking to each other, helping each other. People have questions, so I want people to ask their questions, and I want people to be motivated to answer the questions, to answer the questions. Right? With my community in specific, No Code United, people come in with questions about Framer or come in with questions about, different types of problems that they're dealing with in Cursor, like some, development problems. Um, and they post their questions, and some people answer the questions. Some people answer a lot of questions, and I kind of have like a internal points system that
Mhm,
whenever people, answer a lot of questions about Framer, for example, I like, they get to work on a Framer project with me, and they get
mhm,
to add it to their own portfolio. And but at the end of the day, we do these calls, and in the calls, there's some regulars that always join, and we're always helping each other. And I think that's
mhm,
something that a lot of people that are new to this should kind of keep in mind to join communities like this because we're all in the same boat in terms of like motivation about a certain topic. We all like
mhm,
to talk about web design or something like that. We all are interested in like, the news that just came out about, ChatGPT or something. I don't know. And how that has to do with design, you know. So we talk about different topics and you get to like learn about these topics with us. You get to build stuff with us, and you're like it's kind of like a club, and
mhm,
if I know you, I get to follow you on Twitter, and you follow me on Twitter, and I have other people that follow me. Like we're growing our network as well. So
mhm.
and yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
just trying to
dude.
like get people here to kind of get involved and build their network basically.
Yeah, what was the inclination to get that started? Did you have someone that said, was it after you started making content, you're like, I want to have a closer relationship with maybe some of the people that are engaging? Was there conversations going on in your YouTube comments? What was the switch towards Discord?
So actually, a quick little story. Like
Mhm,
5 years ago, I was learning Webflow, and
mhm,
I had questions about Webflow. I was building a client project, I remember, and I didn't know how to do something. I totally forgot what it was. Something with responsive design, and I asked the Webflow community in
mhm.
Discord. I put a question, and like 5 minutes later, someone called me, and that person, like, ended up we made so many projects together, we built so many projects together, he became
Oh
such a great
man.
friend. We met in real
Mhm,
life, he was living in the north of Germany, near the Netherlands, and we went to the
mhm.
Netherlands together, we went on a cool train ride, and,
Oh my God.
really, really cool guy, and, yeah, basically, I just, you know, I don't know, like, I think the first video, I was
Huh.
like, "I have to put some type of Discord community," you know? It was like an intuition thing, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, dude, you're so like forward thinking. I think you're ahead of so many different, not just in the terms of like the latest tools and stuff like that, because that's what you make your content about,
Mm,
but just your social awareness in terms of like what the trends are in terms of content, um, just like marketing as a whole in terms of where it's headed. Like I see in the future, and you see, you know who Alex Hormozy is?
yeah,
So he has his whole like school community building thing. Like everyone circle is another big like community platform.
yeah,
I think the more and more like the more and more kind of like so much is uncertain right now. And I think that in terms of like job security, especially over on LinkedIn, that's where it's all people are talking about is AI, how it's affecting jobs and what like the future of marketing is going to look like and all that.
mhm,
And that's when you start to see even more people wanting to have conversation about it, like wanting to say like, hey, we're all a little bit trying to figure this out for ourselves. Like, do you have anything that could maybe help me? Or this is what I'm trying to. And that's as someone that watches your content, you get that feeling from you as well. And that's why I think people can kind of latch on to what you post a lot because it's literally just like, hey, you're not pretending to be the expert. You're not pretending to peacock or anything like that. You're literally just like, I'm learning this as I go.
yes,
If I come across anything cool, like I can be the analogy is like Paul Revere, the guy that's at the front of the boat, like holding the torch, like
yeah,
this is what I'm figuring out as I go. Um, but yeah, dude, I think that's awesome that you had the inclination to like, okay, I'm starting to make content, and now I'm also going to have a community on the back end to where I can really go deeper with people that are resonating with it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so yeah,
definitely.
I'll have to check in there more often. I haven't been on there since I subscribed,
Yeah,
but
no, we'd be happy to have
um,
you there, and there's and to all your viewers as well. I'd be happy to meet you all. If you join
uh-huh,
my community, you joined it for a reason, and a lot of people that have joined my community, they've ended up making their own YouTube channels, making their own YouTube videos about whatever they're interested in, and some guy he made a YouTube channel and he posted like he made a challenge to post a video every single day about framer
uh-huh,
stuff, and he ended up doing it, and he's gotten a lot of cool opportunities from that. Uh, so yeah,
uh-huh,
really really cool people, uh, joining that community, and
uh-huh.
a lot of cool stuff that we're doing for sure.
Yeah, man. Talk to me about let's get a little bit more tactical. So, talk to me about how the mindset of first of all, I think having a community makes you like uniquely suited to like, okay, testing ground in terms of what's interesting. You're having these conversations throughout the day, like new tool this, I can try that, or what's actually, just like kind of like a feedback grounds. But talk to me about the mindset of like, okay, I'm sold in. I'm listening to Lucas. I've gotten started. Like I'm sold on making content. What is the mindset behind making content that gets you that accomplishes your goals versus just like, okay, this is entertainment and I'm posting on YouTube for someone to watch. It doesn't really lead anywhere. So, how do you recommend people get started with content in order to help it, whether it's getting freelance clients, whether it's working with brands or deals? What's the mindset that you're in when you're making content to ideally make that stuff happen?
That's a great question. I think it's complex because it's not like a the answer is not something that's going to suit everyone. Everyone's different in their
Uh-huh,
own ways, but
uh-huh,
I just think that the most important thing to keep in mind is just to challenge yourself to create something, and not like you said, I'm not an expert. I'm just like learning something that I'm interested in. And
uh-huh,
eventually after like 10 videos about this specific topic, I do know, I could, help someone like in terms of a client, help someone build a website.
uh-huh,
For example, like if I were to talk about Framer or Frameship, which is like a Framer and e-commerce Framer Shopify integration, and
uh-huh,
I learned how to do it in the first video. And then I then do like five more examples. I'm basically building out like a little portfolio on YouTube, and it takes me
uh-huh,
like 5 to 10 days to do that. And then I can go ahead and like show that to people and say like, hey, I built this. I can help you build this as well. So
uh-huh,
I in the beginning, it was more like I would come up with different types of sprints on different topics, and
uh-huh,
uh and then kind of like reach out to people like that, or Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Now
it's
it's
kind
just
of an
more like interest, like just
yeah.
things that interest me.
Yeah, I think it was kind of an unstructured question. Um, but I think what you're trying to get at is to ultimately like a combination of follow your curiosity and also, God Almighty, to follow a combination of just following your curiosity and being genuine with it,
Uh-huh.
and also just sharing what you're doing as you're doing it. I think trying to over engineer it in the beginning, like, hey, I want to reach a certain subscriber count or make this amount of freelance revenue or anything like that is really hard to connect back to. Um, and like, I'll even say for myself, like when I first, like January 1st, I was like, okay, I want to make this income figure this year.
Mm,
Um, and it's just a very recent learning moment for me is that when you make the outcome or the goal something that's so detached from what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, then you aren't sufficiently motivated or you don't have the resources to make it happen. And
mm,
then when you make it happen, you beat the goal like I did last week, then you you're just like that was really unsatisfying at the end of it.
mm.
Um so I think this philosophy of kind of just learning new things and sharing the journey along the way is it's a worthwhile path because there's no like a destination,
Yeah.
and that's
It's
kind of the bigger picture thing too.
it's a little bit
Um
scary that there's no destination, but as long as you're doing something challenging and something that that kind of sparks your curiosity, um, and you just complete it, you just do it, and you don't care about the quality behind it. You just cut it like I do. Um,
Mhm.
like you're gonna get opportunities that are kind of tailored to what you like to do or what you like to talk about,
Mhm.
right? And that's
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have like perfect examples of that.
Mhm.
Based on what I'm doing. So yeah,
Mhm.
it is scary that if you're doing content and you don't really have like an end destination, but it's just the consistency that's important. And again, people want to work with someone interesting, right? You have to
Mhm.
like you can be funny, you can put a little bit of humor in what you're doing, you can have like an interesting background with books that people like are gonna see in the background. Me, I have my background a little bit blurry because I'm building out a Lego set, like a big
Mhm.
Ferrari F1 car.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm
Okay.
trying to like improve my background to kind of make it a little bit more interesting. But yeah,
Mhm.
at the end of the day, people just want to work with other human beings, and they want to
Mhm.
have fun while working because that's the thing that we do most of our time, right? So
Exactly. And I think what I've realized is there's no shortage of options for like freelancers, service providers. And the thing that's going to set you out is having personality. Like, what
yeah,
is the experience of working with XYZ for a website or a no code solution or something like that?
yeah,
It's so much easier to give that to people when you're just being real and you're making content.
yeah,
Um, and that's so spot on, dude.
yeah.
One thing
No.
I did wanna ask you tactically, I have, like, a million things, and this has been, like, the most it's been, like, the most fun podcast I've ever recorded. Usually, I'm talking to, like, I'm not gonna say anything bad, but, like, professional marketers who are like, "Okay, this is what I do for a job." But, um, talk to
Uh-huh.
me about, like, on on a real front, like, what does the successful version I know, like, success mean a lot of different things, but say you're in a community with you're talking to a lot of people every day. What are you seeing in people that are especially with the way AI is moving, everything like that, um, new tools, new workflows, like an overwhelming amount of like even enough to keep you busy in terms of making content.
Mhm.
What do you see in the like what is a successful maybe freelance service provider look like in the future and how is that different from now? I know that's really broad,
Yeah,
but say when you're in this community, what are you're talking to people that are doing like a lot of people who are probably solo, have small teams if they have a business. What do you see in them and like the most successful ones that are like, okay, what are they doing during the day? What are some of the commonalities between the ones that are like, I'm either making the most money, I'm getting the most opportunities, I'm the happiest. I think that's a big one too.
mhm.
How do you kind of approach that mindset of, embracing the new stuff?
Yeah. So I do get a lot of people like worried about the future and AI, worried about their jobs as a someone that provides a service to someone else, right?
Mhm,
But I do think I actually do not I don't have any type of negative outlook of the future. I just have a pure positive one, and that is
mhm,
like people have their own interests and their own skills, and now with these new tools, like for example, Magic Path, where I'm working at, where you can basically
mhm,
create like designs in seconds, high quality designs. You have tools like Lovable, you have tools like V0, you have ChatGPT, you have Claude Code, all these different things. That what I'm trying to say is that people are going to be, it's going to be easier for people to build out products like software products, and you don't have to
mhm,
necessarily be a SaaS founder, right? That you have like a SaaS with different users. You can have a job and, for example, help your company save money with a certain like automation that you come up with. Or
mhm,
you can still be a freelancer, but you can find some way that automates your process, with some type of app that you're building with AI, that
mhm,
no one else has, and you can probably sell that to different freelancers. I just think that there's going to be a big increase of different types of like personal branded software products, if that makes sense. Like
mhm.
it's not going
Yeah.
to be like a Figma, where it's like Figma and has their software. It's going to be more of like a Lucas or like an Andy, and we
Mhm,
have our own like belt of tools, right? That we use, and
hmm,
that other people that want to kind of like do the things that we're doing, they would kind of use our tools as well. And maybe our tools have some defects, and they're the ones that are
mhm,
building the solutions to those defects. Like,
mhm,
I just see
hmm.
like people on X, for example, like, there's this guy Mark Luvon. He's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, right. Or
It's the
like
guy that
Levels
has, like,
IO.
yeah, like 20 apps and he lives
Yeah,
in Bali and does yeah. Mhm,
exactly. That guy or
mhm,
Levels IO. That's
mhm,
they have there's like this there's something that happens like there's like a news something that's on the news, right? I don't know if I can give a proper example, but like something trending, and then they build something based off of that trending topic, and then they get
mhm.
users, and then they like they don't know where that this product is going, but they build off of their users' feedback.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
I dude, that's so good. Oh my god, yeah. Like, as you're saying this stuff, I'm starting to see, like so, like, an example of that just came to mind when you said that. It was like, there was, like, this whole thing in America, like, I don't know how long ago it was. It was a big story a couple years ago, but people like Pelosi, Bernie Sanders, like political people who are like edging the stock market by like having insider information on the trading. So someone made an app that literally just followed their trades.
yes,
It's like, hey,
exactly.
everyone use my app. It's like there's this trending event about the, you know, horrible stuff that these people are doing.
Yeah,
Take advantage of it with me and use my app.
yeah, yeah.
Um, dude, I
That's
see
a great
that.
example. That's a great
And
example.
yeah, I like the idea of the personalization of software, like less loyalty towards like this like an industry accepted standard. I think maybe and I think of the Mark Wu example, like he has his boilerplate like startup like app environment that he sells and he's made a ton of money from. I see that as well. I think it's I accomplished this thing. I think that's like the future of marketing as a whole, and that's why community plays a big role in that because like an embedded sort of audience in the background.
Mhm.
Whereas you would have to try and manufacture that from the beginning based on the quality of a product beforehand.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I see a lot of that. So how do we act on that? What do we do in the meantime when, you know, with the changes that are happening? What are some of the actions we can take today, other than making content, other than sharing what we're doing, learning as we go, being curious? What are some of the things that freelancers, service providers, marketers, creatives should be doing in the meantime?
I mean, you just said it. Like, other than it's the main thing is creating some type of content, right? It's just sharing your
Mhm,
word, right? And I think the best way is just showing your face and just talking about what you're doing, and making conversations with other people, because it's all
mhm,
about like networking. You know, it's I would say that that's like the most important thing
Yeah.
on the top of my head. Um,
Hmm.
like there's this guy. The reason why I'm working with Magic Path, for example, is uh I was on Twitter. I've been on Twitter for the past 3 years. Pretty like I've actively gone there. When I wake up in the morning, I go on a little Twitter ride and and check all the different things that are happening.
Twitter idea. Hmm.
And there's this guy Pietro Schirano. He's a developer and he's
Hmm.
like makes really nicely designed products. And I've been a fan of his for the past 2 years, and he's been like sharing a lot of content about how he builds, what he's building, and so on and so forth. I've tried his products in the past, and now he's builds Magic Path, and he built Magic Path based on a tweet that he made against Figma. And
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah,
Hmm.
so like and yeah,
Uh-huh.
basically like I was like, yeah, I really want to learn a lot from this person. Like how how he builds, how his daily routine is. Um yeah, and I think that's,
Uh-huh.
at the end of the day, just growing your personal brand like that, where you have so much influence. Like you can tweet something about Magic Path, and you can see like the amount of users, and that day he tweets it
Yeah.
goes up, and then it goes down again. It's like crazy. So that's like like in terms of marketing, building out your personal brand and having a good sense of trust from all the people that are in your network plays a big role, right?
Yeah, dude, that's leverage right there, man.
Yeah.
That's so. I mean, and look what it's done for you too, dude. I think it looks different for the different use cases. Um, I just encourage people to, and this is what I'm learning from you, just as we're chatting, is to just have more fun with it, you know? Like in the past, it's like we view as content. I come from the LinkedIn background, so that's like very buttoned up. Like you can share client work, but it has to be like polished up, presentable. Like it has to be a marketing asset for you, and that's what content is, kind of over there. And
Yeah.
I've kind of fallen to that mindset where I think a lot of people do that are trying to do this thing for a business or like, okay, this is my livelihood. I have to make this productive, efficient. So I need to be
Mhm.
spending time. It kind of muddies the water and it disallows for the following of the creativity. So that's
Mhm.
why I think on a platform like LinkedIn, where I spend all my time currently, that there's huge opportunity, like undervalued attention, like under resourced attention, willing audience. A lot of them are business owners. A lot of them are founders too. So it's a good audience to put content out. But I just
Definitely.
think there's a lot of misincentives when it comes to making the content that will get results. And that's
Mhm.
why, like, when I see your stuff, when I see the community, everyone's being curious and just not having any repercussions of like, okay, this might not be a piece of content that'll get me leads, or this might not be a piece of content that will give me my next project, pay my bills. So, um, anyway, that's kind of a tangent, but dude, I let's talk about Magic Path. So
Okay.
I have dabbled. It is very impressive. Um, my inclination, so this would be like good like product feedback as a newer user,
Mhm.
is it's a lot like Figma. Um, talk to me about the from coming from a design background as well. How say I'm a designer, I don't have any development experience. What's the mindset I should be taking when I try a tool like Magic Path for the first time? Do I use it as an avenue to kind of learn a little bit of development chops, or can I remove myself from the developer mindset completely? Is that what it allows me to do?
Yeah, it's removing yourself from that developer mindset, and it's just I would say right now, um, because I use it on a daily basis, and I think that right now it's at a position where it's great to really, you know, combine different ideas and create designs from just different ideas. Like it's like brainstorming with design, if that makes sense. So you can find
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
references. Let's say we're using this software right now to record this. I can take like a screenshot of this. I can bring it into Magic Path and I can, take a screenshot of how Google Meets looks like. And I can find a way to kind of combine these things, create different variants of those combinations, add my own type of design system, make it for a specific you know, industry, like maybe like sports podcasting. Um, so instead of it like having
Hmm.
like two screens, it would be maybe like two screens and like a topic about like a sports event that's happening or like scores in the bottom. I don't know. It's just there.
Uh-huh.
I'd say that right now Magic Path is like the best tool for brainstorming designs with AI. So you can
Uh-huh.
maybe you have a framer project going on or a Webflow project going on, and you have an idea of how it can look like, but you can use this tool kind of create like a good you know uh high quality uh
Uh-huh.
design, high quality brainstormed design for you to kind of use as a
Uh-huh.
reference, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very like it's really good at being iterative too. Like the biggest thing that still blows my mind with any of the really any of the AI tools, but in particular one that's design oriented is I was talking to a guy named Josh. Josh Canali is his name, but he's over on LinkedIn. That's where I met, and he has like an AI design system agency he's trying to build. So he's kind of coming up with a business model where he works with startups in the very beginning to create a proprietary design system that's like AI leveraged, and it's like onboarding and training of like this is how when you hire in-house people and in-house marketers and hire in-house designers, this is how you build from a good foundation that is AI enabled. This is how you transfer it to different tools. This is how you have a style guide that you can drop into other LLMs that'll help you create different assets. And
Mhm,
like the way that like I said, the biggest thing that blows my mind is how you can work with it with visual feedback. And I think one of your biggest unique skill sets is the piecing together of different tools and the workflow to get the best output. And when I say that, I mean like you might start in something like UX Pilot. You might start in a tool like Reloom, which for the listeners are like wireframing tools for software and for websites. Um, and then you can source visual inspiration off of this skeleton sort of frame right within, like you said, a code-free environment, which is endlessly fascinating and
yeah,
really fun to play with. And also like the style guide too was really fun. The If people head over to your channel after this and start watching, I would recommend you start with something just to tailor off on this conversation and really like hit the ground running is the full AI design masterclass one where
okay.
you literally I think you started I watched that one like before bed one night. I was like, holy shit, like I had a client project starting the very next day and I was a little bit overwhelmed just in terms of the overall scope. And I really had to like increase like get done faster. So I was like, okay, how do I spend less time on the ideation, on the creative part of it? How do I build a scalable foundation? And your insight of like starting in Magic Path, generating wireframes, and then transitioning over or starting in UX Pilot, generating wireframes, using visual inspiration. So I went to Tweak CN and I made the style guide, exported
Mhm,
that code, had like a bit of a glue with ChatGPT and Claude to do some of the formatting for the prompts.
mhm.
And like I see you like in your videos and streams, you're kind of like bouncing between all these. I think your intuition between when to do that is really refined, and it's it's really cool to watch, and it's even cooler to try firsthand. Um, but yeah, dude, that was kind of a ramble, but I highly
Interesting.
recommend everyone
Cool.
to go check out Magic Path and just have a play around. They have a really generous free plan, and
Cool.
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a great team. They're
But
very talented. I think it's like literally the most talented team I've ever worked with. And a lot of cool stuff coming in the future. And again, we have a community for that as well, where we meet every single day, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to chat with me about Magic Pad, you can find me there.
yeah, well, dude, I think it's a good place to land the plane. Like I said, I have a million different things I could pick your brain on, just
Mhm,
because um, you, like I said, have seen you like the first person correlation of seeing someone on video, watching their content, and then getting to talk to them in person is a treat that I don't take lightly. So I appreciate you making the time.
for
But
sure.
as I reference like your daily schedule, I'm cutting into your content time. So you need to get this is the most important part of your day. Or if you
Yeah.
want to go take a nap, then that's
No,
totally
no, no, it's
justified
good.
as well. I probably
I'm
wore you
gonna
out.
keep on grinding, and that's a good way to kind of end this. I just wanted to say, like, you might feel overwhelmed about this content creation topic, but it's just important to just start somewhere, release something. It doesn't have to be in YouTube, can be somewhere else. And people really appreciate this work ethic that they see, right? So if you're gonna be working a lot, like me, if you have the time to do it, um, just keep that in mind that people really see that, and the world is really big. It's a big world, a lot of different people in this world, and you're gonna have a lot of opportunities, right? You just have to start and be consistent.